This world was created out of words. Let there be light, and there was light. And so, words mean a lot. So leveraging reminds us that we need to do something. We need to input our ideas so that we can move that land forward.
There is a lot that we do waste here. We take for granted, but which, if we were to get it back to Cameroon, it is going to ensure that in the next 5 years, our poverty incidence rate will not be lingering around 40% anymore.
We have a small place in Mile 4 in Bamenda where we do some outsourcing. Basically, the way it started was we had some investments, a few websites that we needed to market, and I happened to have somebody back there that I knew about 2 years ago. So what I did was I basically created some videos, uploaded the videos to YouTube. I also wrote down some pretty straightforward instructions, sent them by email. The guy went to an internet cafe, he bought internet time there, he bought about 100 hours a month. And with those 100 hours, he was able to watch the videos, follow the instructions on email, and do the job.
One of the key success factors for diaspora mobilization. Number one, there's a need for a clear and credible purpose. Number two, you need some individual champions. Not everybody can go and make change. You need a small group of dedicated people who can lead change. Third point, you need to build capable organizations back home to support our initiatives here. If we only act here without connections back home, nothing will happen.
So let's not spend too much time and focus on the problems that we have and focus on the challenges. Let's focus more on the things that we can do, the small steps that we can take. And believe me, we're going to get there big time. And if you look at the Cameroonian budget and you look at the amount of money that we spend every year, or the amount of foreign direct investments that we get, the amount of money that we get back into Cameroon, you'll notice that those remittances actually make up about, they are probably the second or the third most important source of foreign direct money flowing into Cameroon. So that's a huge sum of money.
Western Union alone is not an agent for change. It's an agent for status quo. And it doesn't help for poverty reduction. It just helps people survive. And sometimes it attracts them, and it gives them the illusion that money is easy outside.
Instead of sending money, we have to find a way for people in Cameroon to generate that money. You have to teach someone how to find the money and not keep giving, because you give, it's easy and they just spend it and it goes. So what I decided to do was I have something in Cameroon, I have a car in Cameroon that I was supposed to use for myself or maybe sell it and do business. I decided the people that I send money to, I'm going to have them take that car, put it on the road, make some money and make a living off of it.
I tried what you talked about, like putting a car on the road that it brings. Trust me, for our parents, it rather becomes a headache again, because sooner or later, they change like 4 drivers in a year, because the other one is worse than the other one, it's worse than the other one, and then sooner or later they'll have to start asking you again, the car broke down, you need someone now to fix it.
Just to give you an idea, over the last 20 years, economic growth in Cameroon was negative, meaning that from 87 to 97 it was minus 4.6. From 97 to 2007, it was plus 1.5. At the same time, population growth was 2.8, meaning that while the population was increasing, the cake was being reduced.
I know there are thousands of Cameroonians, successful Cameroonians in very many fields out here. But we don't know who they are. We don't know what they can do. We don't know where their areas of competencies are. So I thought we should do some census, create a database so that we know who we have, what skills do we have, how much of them do we have in each one of those areas. And that could help us.
What keeps a society strong are institutions. Because people come and go. We are like flowers, we die at some point. If you have, like you talk about the code of ethics, that's your institution for accountants. So you have to, I think we have to focus more on building institutions. If we have an organization, let's say like CPS, you build your institutions within the CPS. Everything you have, a protocol, you have the ethics written in there already. So everybody knows what the rules of the game is.
The bureaucracy would kill you. I mean, I don't need to go over that. We all know that. From the seaport to big, just anything you want to get into as far as the government is concerned, the laws, the taxes, everything will kill you. And it's unfortunate because it drives away potential investors. It drives away even the smallest investor. I went to Cameroon with hopes of investing a little bit of money, and I came back, lost everything.
Here in the diaspora, we still face that same problem of divisiveness and tribalism, especially with the different organizations. Well, an organization like CPS, like the concept so far is looking great, but how do we bridge that gap? How do we bridge that gap between Anglophones and Francophones?
The local community has nothing. I go to my own region where you have dams, they don't have electricity in the village. These are Anglophone, the other ones are Francophone. And actually I have my own cousins who are Anglophone. So I don't know, for me there's no divide. What we need to do concretely is when we set up an organization, we need to bring people together.
What to do, we can talk about the problems, we can talk about how to fix them, but I think the bigger question is, Cameroonian identity. What is it to be Cameroonian today, and how does corruption factor into our ambitions and into our identities? And how do we address that? How do we become aware of how conditioned we are, how conditioned we subsist on a very corrupt system, and how does that affect how we do things, and how does that affect how we can change things?
Now, at the level of our government, there is nothing concrete. But we can work with our private sector, work with the non-governmental institutions for a beginning. But for the information I get, the Cameroon government has been working on a policy framework for Cameroonians in the diaspora since 2008. Now, how long that will take, we don't know. But there is something in the works. So, but before then, there is nothing stopping us from going ahead to do what we need to do.
It is a battle cry motivating each of us to be a generator, converting Cameroon from a nation of consumers to an entity of inventors and producers. It is a battle cry encouraging men and women with the creative ideas that move societies forward, to put those ideas on the table and move Cameroon forward, because, as the national anthem says, it is a land of promise. The promise is there. The promise is you and I. We have to make that promise a reality.
CPS presents itself as that body to be able to help Cameroonians leverage from one another and forge networks and develop ideas that we can help ourselves to succeed.
Loved it very much, very informative. The panelists were great, excellent. I cannot thank the organizers enough for what they put together. This is really, really beautiful.
And I really thank CPS and Cameroon Professional Society to organize this symposium.